What's going on, everybody? I am Baltmatrix, and today we're taking a look at Transformers Studio Series Transformers One Starscream. I picked this figure up over at Amazon.com, and boy, this is not what I was expecting. This is a very interesting and equally infuriating figure. First off, color-wise, it's actually really good. It is the traditional Starscream colors, just a little bit darker than normal. I think the figure that we ended up with is quite good and quite striking. Head sculpt works, but it is not exactly what I want Starscream's head sculpt to be. Definitely animation accurate, but I think it needs to be a little bit more boxy. Figure is highly posable, which I'm grateful for, but it is very back heavy because it's got a bunch of kibble back here. It does come with 4 different accessories, the 2 shoulder cannons, and then these 2 bits. This forms the top of the vehicle mode, but then can turn around and be used as a gun, which I like. And then this big honkin' blue piece, which is, again, a weapon in vehicle mode. Then can also be used as a gun. And then the 2 of them can combine by flipping that one around and plugging that one in, and it looks like a Super Soaker. It looks like a really stupid Super Soaker. The figure's backpack is made up of his wings that are totally posable. We've got 1 hinge joint here, a ball joint here, and then a hinge joint here for the tips of the wings, so you can move the wings all around. You could do a whole bunch of things with them, get them out of the way, spin them around if you want. You can do whatever you want with them, within reason, of course. But, and I say this as a fan, I kind of wish they would peg in a certain way, or would peg in somewhere. That would be nice. They are highly posable, which I do respect, or I shouldn't say respect, which I do appreciate. There is also a giant gaping hole back here that could fit a Titan Master. But that's not the thing that I dislike about it. It's the fact that it's super back heavy. Thankfully, the figure has nice big heels, which I appreciate, but the feet don't move anywhere. Knees bend over 90 degrees as part of the transformation. There is a thigh swivel, which is on double mushroom peg, and then a ball joint in the hip, which is limited because of, well, kicking back, but kicking out all the way, goes all the way, kicking forward. He can kick high. There is 0 torso articulation due to the complexity of the transformation. We'll get into you in a minute. And then there is a ball joint in the shoulder. There is a double mushroom peg swivel at the bicep. Bend at the elbow is over 90 degrees. No fist articulation. Totally understand, given the size of those forearms. They're very skinny. I'm not sure how they could easily fit a mushroom peg in there, or even a ball joint. And then the head is on a ball jointing cone, go all noodly. Given the range of motion, the figure can pull off a whole lot of interesting poses. Just to be silly, I'm mixing up the weapons. Yes, you can have the null rays handheld and the other ones plugged into his shoulders. The only other spots to plug anything else in, or I should say spot, is right here on the back. That's it, no other ports. Let's get into the transformation. Now, the first thing I want to warn you is this is a little complex. It's not hard, but it is complicated and the directions aren't totally clear. So to start off with, we're going to come to the backpack and take the wings and then turn them around so that the forward swept part of the wings are pointing up like that. Now come to the chest and unpeg the chest and grab the head and pull the head up like that. Take the chest and pull it up. This section in the middle will flip out like this, and will then flip out and flip out again like that. Now what we want to do is lift up the canopy section, and there is a set of hinges in here that you can see we've got multiple hinges here. So what I like to do is take the canopy and kind of pull it up as far as it'll go, and we want, essentially what we want to have happen is the head to come off. Yes, that is exactly what we don't want to have happen. Okay, so this actually helps us out. So you see in here, there's this white piece. You actually want to pull it down so it fills in what should be where a pilot goes, like that. And then this white section will fold up and peg into it like that. And then the tip here, when it doesn't disconnect, will go straight like that. And then the whole section will fold up thusly. So to do this again, take the head, unpeg it, fold it back. Take this piece, the white piece, just let it flop down, unpeg the canopy of the chest, then pull that whole section down and straighten it out, and then fold out the tip, or the tip, fold out the tip. Flip that out, and flip that out, and we get this nice straight piece. And then figure out where the heck it popped off from, and then put it back into place. This is an issue that I have with this figure, and this is part of why I find this particular figure, maybe it's just my copy, so infuriating, is because pieces just keep popping off. So before we can do that, before we can reattach it, take these red pieces, fold them out, flip the backpack out, then we can reattach the chest piece. It might be best if I do it upside down, and then drop the head into this opening. And before we close that back up, take these red pieces and push them all the way back so that these little tabs are closed up upon by the backpack. And you can see there are these little slots right where my finger is, and they will just rest on there. Okay, push that down and then bring that up until it snaps into place. I'm sorry if I had that on off camera. That was the chest piece. It has to snap into the top here. And then we could take the top of the Tetradet and plug that in there. Okay. Now let's come down to the legs. First, come to the back of the legs, flip out these blue pieces. Then smush the legs together. And then the legs will fold forward, and you'll collapse the legs up into the chest. And it seems like you're supposed to peg something in, and there is this little divot on the backs of the knees that will rest right up against these little tabs. And if you don't get it perfect, you're going to have a bad time. And sometimes I don't get it perfect, and that's a problem. And where that's a problem is the thrusters. So the thrusters are the heels. So fold them up, and they will peg into place just at the back, or right up against what the robot mode's butt was. See this blue piece we folded out? That is supposed to fold up and peg into this little slot right where my finger is. And this is the most annoying part of the transformation, because I can never get this to line up correctly. All right, this is the best I can do. I've never been able to get this. I've transformed this several times already, and I've never been able to get these pieces to click into place. So if you have any advice, let me know down in the comments. Next, take the toes, fold them up, and they will peg into these slots that are just underneath the thrusters. And then the arms will fold back, and the forearms have these two pegs, and they're supposed to slot into these hinges like this. But even those never get lined up correctly because I can't get the panels closed quite right. So I end up having to hold the panel and then just kind of push the arm over the peg. Come to the underside of the vehicle mode, fold up the shoulder pads, and then fold them forward like this, like that. And then this blue guy is going to get pegged in by folding these in, and then there is a little slot right here, right where my thumb is, that the gun will peg or gently peg into. And this does require a little bit of finesse, and I have found that even if just a little bit of the panel, or if it's off by just a little bit, the blue gun will just fall out, and it's really annoying. Okay, I got it. And then we could take the guns and then slide them, or the null rays, and then slide them into the shoulders. You can totally do this with the null rays already pegged in. I have found, for me, it is easier to remove the null rays than put them in later. And finally, we can come to the wings and get them situated. The back section of the wing will slot in underneath the red, and then the front of the wing will slot in to that groove there. And it just takes a little bit of force. Just get everything lined up. Straighten out the wings. And make sure everything's lined up. And we are done. Got a Tetrajet. I cannot argue with the look of the Tetrajet mode. It looks fantastic. It really does. I do worry with the fact that if you lose any of the guns or the piece up here, you lose the effect of the Tetrajet. But overall, it's a really nice alt mode, even if you do have robot fists sticking out of the back, which I really, really wish they had come up with a way to hide those better. I really do. I'm so tired of Starscream or any of the Seekers having well, let's face it, they're reaching and trying to clench their butt while they're flying around in vehicle mode. It's so dumb. Overall, it's a fine vehicle mode. I don't have much of a problem with it other than the fact that it just doesn't stay together. Things pop off. Things fall out of place every time I pick it up. And I really wonder if that's me transforming it incorrectly or if it's a tolerance issue with the production of the parts. Now, I really do wonder where Hasbro could go with this. Yes, we've got Starscream right now. He looks pretty good. I wonder if we'll get maybe an Acid Rain or we'll get all three Seekers. I honestly don't know. Starscream was the only one I can remember in the movie. We did have a Shockwave and we did have a Soundwave who was practically a flying boombox, which I would like to see, actually. And then we had Shockwave, which wasn't me, or was he in his Generations? Did he transform into his Generations mode? Or mold? That was interesting. Anywho, I don't have a problem with it in vehicle mode. I really don't, other than the fact that it just keeps coming apart. But color-wise, accuracy-wise to the movie, it works. Transformation back into robot mode is nowhere near as hard as getting into vehicle mode. Now, folks, let me know if you've seen other reviewers review this and if you have any tips on on better transforming of the figure, on if you could transform it better or if I'm missing something. I could totally be missing something. I have been known to be wrong in the past. And yeah, if you've noticed, as I've been transforming it, and you haven't seen some of it, just chunks pop off. And that's a real pain in the keister. It really is. But, oh well. All right, let's get those thrusters folded down, and then we can take the legs and fold them all the way down. Close up the backs, stand the figure up, give him the truest of Gerwalks. Yeah, totally Gerwalk mode. Yep. that holy crap, I didn't even notice that when I first transformed it. Yeah, that's totally a Gerwalk mode. Congrats, Hasbro, you made your own Valkyrie. Anyway. All right, let's get that, unpeg those, flip that out. Come here, wing. Open that up, fold that forward. All right. Now, as I said before, this is where things get a little bit kooky. Now, let me just get these backpack up, get that pegged into place, get the wings out of the way. Just flip them around and get them out of the way. Okay. Now, this is the chest. We talked about this earlier. Fold the head up, break the cockpit, take this section and fold it down and around, and then push the whole section down, grab the cockpit and fold that up like that. We want to actually push it up into the chest farther, otherwise it's not going to sit correctly. There we go. Get that up there, fold that down, flip this around, and it will actually, there's a little peg right there, it'll peg into that. Just get that up in there, him in, there we go, and then we reattach it. Actually, you know what? I don't know why. This looks like a Power Master, like Power Master suit for some reason. I don't know why I just thought that. So Hasbro could totally repaint these parts and give us like a completely different Seeker, just change these components. That's totally doable. Maybe Takara could do it. I don't know. All right, snap that into place, push the head in, there we go. And then rearm him up and fix the wings. I just discovered while setting this up that you can attach the little 5mm blast effects to the back there. They're not the deepest of connections, but they do fit snugly in there. They do fall out very easily, so just be aware of that. Overall, I do like this Starscream. I think it's cool. However, I do have my issues with it, and I've laid those out for you here in this video. I don't know. I just don't know. I want to see this mold given some more love. I really do. I think it could be one of the all-time great Seeker molds if they just fix a few things. Otherwise, it's really cool, and it definitely is a great Starscream figure. Takara, Hasbro, hell, third parties, get a hold of this thing, tweak a few of the little issues that I've run into, and you've got yourself like a primo Seeker mold for years to come. So this has been my video review of Studio Series Transformers 1 Starscream. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Please be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. I've been Baltmatrix, and I'll catch you all next time.